welcome back to my channel. Before we get started, I just want to say thank you to everyone who watched the braided salmon recipe that I posted last week. I really hope that you guys enjoyed that video. I want to say thank you to everyone who left a thumbs up, who left me comments, and a special thank you to all of you who have subscribed. And if you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and click that red subscribe button right now so you can join the family. And if you haven't seen that video yet, please go check it out. It will be greatly appreciated. I will link that video down in the description box. But with that being said, what are we doing today? So today we are making something so special. I would say this is probably my signature dish, just because this is something that I've been making for years and years, and this is probably my most requested dish of all time. When I tell you, my friends and my family are always asking me when I'm gonna cook this, it is like a non-stop, okay? They are always asking. So what we're making today is a creamy shrimp loaded twice baked potato. Yes, I said twice baked. We're gonna bake it twice, okay? But it's gonna be worth it, trust me. This meal is gonna be bussin'. All right, you guys, let's get into these ingredients. So first things first, I just want to mention that we are doing the baked potato, but I'm also giving you guys ingredients for a cream sauce as well that we are going to drizzle on top of the potato later on. But I'm just going to go through all the ingredients and then we'll go through steps as we cook. So first things first is the goat. You guys already know, y'all saw this in my last video. You know that I don't cook without this. Tony's Creole seasoning. It's a must. You should have this in your kitchen already if you watched my last video, okay? So next, we have some shredded Parmesan cheese. This is about a cup. You guys already know, if you watched my last video, if I need more, I'll add more. If I need less, then I'll add less. It just really depends on how I feel and how it looks once I'm like, you know, mixing everything together. Okay, so next we have a cup of heavy whipping cream. This is going to be for the cream sauce. It's a must. Don't use milk. Please use heavy whipping cream. It makes a difference. Okay, so next we have about 6 cloves, I would say, of minced garlic. I use fresh garlic. I mince it up myself, but if you want to buy the garlic that's already minced for you, do that too. And if you want to add more than 6 cloves, you can do that too. I know some people really love garlic, so if you do, go ahead. It's not going to really ruin the recipe at all. If you like raw garlic, you do, and if you don't, you don't. Okay, so next we have butter. We're going to need the butter for the cream sauce and for the potatoes. So this is about a pound of butter. We might not use the entire pound, but we're going to use most of this. So make sure you have plenty of butter. Okay, so next we have half milk, half heavy whipping cream. This is going to be for the baked potatoes. This is about 1.5 cups. Again, we may need more or less, but I start off with this amount and then we'll see how we feel, okay? Okay, so next we have about 8 ounces of pepper jack cheese. I love pepper jack cheese. It just gives your potatoes that kick, you know what I mean? Like if you like a little spice, like me, I love everything spicy. But if you like a little spice, then you'll love the pepper jack cheese. And if you don't like the spice, don't add the pepper jack. It's not a must at all. I just love it because it's like a little spicy surprise when you bite into your potatoes. So pepper jack cheese, I get the block and then I just dice it up into cubes. I don't like to shred it. I like to just dice it up into cubes. It's faster. Y'all know I don't have time for all of that. And again, like I said, when you bite into your potato, it's like that little spicy surprise. So I like to dice them up into chunks. Okay, so next we have the cheddar cheese. So for the cheddar cheese, this is also for the potatoes. Like I said, if you don't want the pepper jack, you don't have to add that. Just add more cheddar. But you do need cheese for this recipe. So if you have another cheese that you like, use that. It doesn't matter. But like I said, I start off with a cup. So this is about 1 cup of cheddar cheese. And then I will add more or less depending on how I feel. But for the most part, this should be enough because we have cheddar and pepper jack. All right. So next we have green onion. So you're going to need to get 2 bunches of green onion. One I've already diced up for you off camera, but we're gonna throw the diced up green onions into the potato mixture, and then the one that I haven't diced up, we will dice it later, and this will be the topping for the potatoes. But I like to dice this up a little bit different than how I dice up the green onion that's going inside the potato. So I will show you how I dice this a little bit later, but this, you just dice it like regular green onion, doesn't matter. Okay, so for the shrimp, you already know where this came from, Costco. So I get about a pound to a pound and a half. So lastly, of course, the potatoes. So this recipe is for about 4 to 6 potatoes, give or take. You can always do more potatoes and just add more portions of each ingredient. But I just, you know, for the amount of people that I'm cooking for, I'm only gonna do 6 potatoes. So make sure you get the large potatoes, because you don't want those really tiny ones, otherwise you can't stuff them, and that's what we're gonna do basically, is we're gonna stuff the potato. So you don't want to get the really small ones, because it will just kind of defeat the purpose of stuffing the potato. That is about it. These are all the ingredients. So now we're about to get into the whole cooking process. Okay, you guys already know we're about to go ahead and preheat our oven. So we're gonna put our oven on 450. Okay, so now we're just gonna go ahead and prep the potatoes to go into the oven. It's really simple. Just make sure that you clean your potatoes, which I already did off camera, and then I just pat them dry so they're not like super soaking wet. And then I'm just gonna go ahead and oil them down. I just like to oil them down so that they don't dry out too much. It'll make it easier for us to cut them open later when they come out the oven. So the first thing I do is just get some olive oil. I didn't mention that in the ingredients because I feel like we already know that we need oil to cook. So most people cook with olive oil, so that's just that. This is what is in this little container. It's just in a cute little bottle, but make sure that you have some olive oil. And then first things first is I just like to drizzle some on top of our baking sheet. I mean, I'm gonna drizzle a lot, okay? A lot of oil. Okay. So now we just take our potato, literally, and I'm just gonna pour oil over top of the potato just like this. Okay? And we're gonna do this for all the potatoes, and then I just rub the oil in, just like that. Trust me, it makes a difference, because these potatoes are gonna be in the oven for a very long time, so you just wanna make sure that they don't get too dried out on the outside, at least for the bottom. The bottom is the most important, or should I say the top is the most important. So, so just make sure you just oil them. Okay, so again, we're just going to drizzle the oil on top of our potato, and then just rub her in just like this. Get the oil all over. Okay, so after we've covered all the potatoes with oil, we're now just gonna go ahead and throw them into the oven and let them bake for about 45 minutes to an hour. Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and prep our shrimp and get it ready to go on the stove, because we're gonna cook it like halfway through before we put it in the potato. But what I do wanna say is that we wanna make sure that we save at least 2 whole shrimp and set that aside. That will be the topping for our potato. So I'm gonna just take out 2 per potato. So we have 6 potatoes, so we'll need 12 whole shrimp. 2, 4. So then after we separate those shrimp, we can go ahead and season them with our Creole seasoning. Okay, those look good. We can go ahead and set that aside. So I went ahead and took all the tails off of the shrimp off camera. But now we're just gonna go ahead and slice them in half. So I just go ahead and slice all of the shrimp in half before we cook them. Now that we have all of the shrimp diced up, we can go ahead and season it and get ready to cook it. So again, just some Creole seasoning. Okay, so we have some olive oil in our pan, and we just want to make sure that our pan is completely coated with the olive oil. And we're going to let this heat up on medium heat for about 2 minutes. Oil should be just about hot, so let's go ahead and drop our shrimp in. Ooh, yes, I love the sizzle. That is what you want. Okay, so we don't want to cook the shrimp all the way through. We want to just halfway cook it, because once we throw this into the oven with the potatoes, they're going to cook a little bit more. So don't overcook your shrimp, okay? So we are about to go ahead and make our cream sauce. So the first thing we need to do is melt some butter in a pan. I would say about 2 tablespoons of butter is plenty. So I'm melting the butter right now on medium-low heat, because I don't want to burn the butter, so I'm letting it take its time. It'll melt when it melts. Okay, so now that our butter is melted, we're gonna go ahead and add our 1 cup of heavy whipping cream. Okay, and now we're gonna go ahead and add our minced garlic. We only need about 1/4 teaspoon, not a lot at all, because we're gonna put the rest of this garlic in the potatoes. Okay, so then I'll just go ahead and mix this in. Now I'm gonna go ahead and sprinkle in our cheese. And just let this melt, and keep stirring as you let this melt. I'm gonna turn the heat up on medium high for just a little bit while I'm stirring and letting this cheese melt. Okay, now our cream sauce is starting to thicken up. Once you see that boil starting, that usually means your sauce is starting to thicken up, as you can see. So now I'm going to turn the heat down on low, because we do not want to burn our sauce. We just kind of want to keep stirring it until it gets to the thickness that we want. But I think it looks pretty good for the most part, so I don't really want to cook it that much longer. So now what I want to do is go ahead and season with, again, our Tony's Creole seasoning. And you don't need a lot of this. I'd say maybe like 1/2 teaspoon to a teaspoon. Just do a little bit at a time and then just taste it and see how you feel. But you don't want to over salt it. So that looks pretty good to me. So now I'm gonna go ahead and stir again, get that seasoning all mixed in. So what I'm gonna do is just go ahead and taste this. Okay, that tastes pretty good to me. I'm gonna let it cook for like 2 more minutes, and then I think we're good to go on the cream sauce. Okay, it's been about 45 minutes. I'm gonna go ahead and check the potatoes. They should be done. Just gonna take a look. are ready for our potatoes. So what we're gonna do is slice our potatoes down the center, but we don't want to slice all the way through. We want to start like maybe an inch in, and then just do a nice straight line just like this all the way down, and then stop an inch down like that. We don't want to go all the way through. And then what we're gonna do is go ahead and just press on the potato like this. Again, holding the sides of the potato tight so they don't rip, but just pushing it in just like that so we can open our potatoes up. Next, we want to just take a spoon and start digging out the potato from the skin, but we want to be very delicate and very slow with this process because we do not want to rip our potato skin. Go ahead and just take the potato out of the skin slowly and gently. So this process is very tedious. It takes a very long time, but it's worth it if you want your potatoes to look good at the end. So I take my time when I'm doing this. I do not rush this process at all. And as you see, it's gonna be impossible not to rip it. So there are gonna be some rips in your potato, and that's okay. But again, just try your hardest not to rip the potato skin. I know it's difficult. It will happen. I do it all the time, but just be very careful. Okay, so this one is taken out. As you can see, it is an empty potato. Now we're just gonna do the same thing for all of the potatoes. Okay, so now we are about to go ahead and mix up our potatoes, mash them up, add all our ingredients, and then we're gonna go ahead and stuff it back into the potato skins. So what I first like to do is add in our milk. So this is our heavy whipping cream and our milk, half and half. And I don't pour it all in at once. I just take my time and just add a little bit at a time, just like that. Then I go ahead and take some melted butter. Again, just adding a little bit at a time, just like that. And then I go ahead and start mashing this up. Okay, so I started mashing that up. I can already tell that I need some more milk and some more butter. So the best way to tell if you need more milk and butter is just if your potatoes are not mashing well and if they seem to be dry. We do not want dry potatoes. So I'm gonna go ahead and add some more milk and heavy whipping cream. I'm gonna go ahead and add some more butter. We want this to be really creamy in consistency, and we don't want dry potatoes. Okay, go ahead and mash that in some more. Okay, I can still tell that this is not fully creamy the way I want it, so I'm gonna again add the rest of our milk and the rest of our butter and keep mixing. That's looking like how we want it. Okay, it's mashing up really nicely. It doesn't seem like it's dry at all. It's starting to get real creamy. I can mix. That's what we want. So just keep doing that until you get it to the creamiest consistency that you can. Okay, I went ahead and melted some more butter. You can never have too much butter for this recipe, so I'm gonna go ahead and just add some more butter. I want these potatoes to be so creamy, you have no idea. So adding more butter, and you'll be able to tell how much butter you need, how much milk you need. You'll definitely need more butter than milk, just to keep that in mind. But this is looking good though. Yes, this is what I want to see. I do not want no dry potatoes. I want them to be moist and creamy. Do you see how this is starting to really come together? And it's really starting to be really creamy. It's mashed really well. It's mixing really well. That is what you want, I'm telling you, girl. This is about to be so good. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and add the rest of the butter, and then I think we are pretty much good. Okay, so now we are about to go ahead and add our Creole seasoning. This whole recipe is Creole seasoning. I'm gonna go ahead and just season our potatoes with the Creole seasoning. Again, just season to taste, however much you think that you need or you like. Add it, taste it. If you need more, cool. This is a lot of work. I'm not even gonna tell you, my arm is tired. It is a lot of work, but it is so good, and the people that you make this for are gonna love you. So after I add the seasoning in, I just like to go ahead and taste it and see if I want to add more. Okay, so I went ahead and tasted it. I definitely want to add some more seasoning, not a lot, but a little bit more. Okay, so now we have the potatoes all mashed and creamy. So now for the best parts, the cheese. So go ahead and add your cheddar cheese. And start mixing that in. Once this is all baked into the oven, it's gonna melt. It's gonna be even more creamier. Like, you guys have no idea what you're in store for. I am so excited. Now we want to add our pepper jack cheese. Our little pepper jack chunks. Add all of your minced garlic. Okay, so now you can go ahead and add your green onions. I'm gonna go ahead and mix that in. And last but not least, our shrimp. All right, you guys, that is it. We are all mixed in. Okay, we're about to preheat our oven again, but this time we are gonna preheat our oven on 350. And this is for our second bake. Okay, let's go ahead and restuff these bad boys. So what we're gonna do is just pick up our potatoes, make sure that they're open, take your spoon and just go ahead and start stuffing the new potato into your potato skin. So you want to stuff these as full as you possibly can, so that your potato is completely full of this new potato mixture. So I make sure that I kind of puncture it in, open it up, you feel me, just like that, and then keep adding more potato. no shame in doing a little extra. There's nothing wrong with that at all. Okay, so there you go. That's your first potato. It is looking beautiful. And I'll just make sure it's holding together, because of course some of these potato skins did rip. So you want to just make sure it's kind of holding itself together. And then what you want to do is go ahead and add your little topping, your shrimp topping, which is the shrimp that we did not cook earlier. Now that everything is all stuffed back into potatoes, I'd like to take the potatoes and put them in a baking dish, something that's a little tighter that'll hold them together, because as they start to cook, everything is going to start to melt and form together, and the potatoes may come apart. So I just like to just go ahead and take the potatoes and put them in a baking dish so that they're just kind of like held together. I guess that's the best way to put it. All right, potatoes are going back into the oven for 25 minutes. I'm gonna show you guys how I like to slice the green onion for the topping. Basically, how I'm gonna chop this green onion is I wanna chop it at a diagonal. She looks beautiful. She is about to be so creamy, so cheesy, and so delicious. All right, you guys, there it is. Before we close out this video, I do want to mention that the cream sauce would normally go in a little side sauce container, and you would literally just drizzle it on top of your potato for a little extra added flavor. So if you decide to try the cream sauce, let me know down in the comment section. Unfortunately, I was not able to find my little side sauce container, so I couldn't do the whole presentation for you guys. But anyway, you saw what the cream sauce looks like. It's going to be really, really good, so let me know if you try it. Anyway, I hope that you guys liked this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Please, again, don't forget to leave a comment down below. All the ingredients and the step-by-steps will be in the description box below as well. And if you enjoyed this video, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you can join the family. All right, you guys, I'll see you in the next one. Deuces.